Ooh-wee, Castlevania fans, we are eating good, I tell you what. So, the Castlevania Nocturne trailer dropped yesterday, and I'm moister than a merman, and I am not ashamed to admit that. There is so much to deep dive onto, but I kind of wanted to narrow our focus a little bit, specifically on the Belmont himself, the most powerful, most handsome, sweet baby girl, Richter Belmont. I take no Richter slander in this house. I mean, for God's sake, I have got this man tatted on my arm. I mean, got the Rondo of Blood cover art or box art or whatever. So I got Dracula up here, Richter down here, and the Marie Renard down here. It's not finished yet, but it's coming out good. Look at that stash, man. I just spit everywhere because I love this stash so much. It's such a good stash. I like that stash, yes sir. Really good stash. So there's three main questions that I want to try to answer. The first, what happened to the Belmonts and Alucard? The second, who are the main antagonists of this show? And finally, where is Dracula? What happened to Dracula? It's Castlevania, we gotta know about Dracula. A lot of speculation is going into this video, so let me just prefix a few things. For one, I don't care what happened to the Devil Forge Masters, Isaac and Hector. They had a wonderful ending, and for me, I don't feel like continuing their story is going to add very much to Nocturne. Maybe if we had a few callbacks, for example, Hector wanted to write a book, and Isaac had rebuilt that city, it would be really cool to see those little nods in Nocturne, but I'm not really too worried about seeing them. The big question that I want to know is, what happened to Saint Germain? Is he in the Infinite Corridor? Is he still alive? I mean, we can't really go based off of the games because of the adaptation that Powerhouse Studios is doing. But, in the games, he was a master of time, cursed to be stuck in the Infinite Corridor. Also, a lot of this is theory crafting, a lot I can get wrong. I mean, there's a literal second castle worth of discussion to be had here. So please kind of just band together with me and let's try to figure this all out. Taking a lot from the first show, we can assume that the Belmonts and Alucard have successfully built up the city of Belmont. We saw that at the ass end of Season 4. Now, a few generations have passed, and that kind of leads us to the era of the French Revolution, roughly beginning between 1789 to 1799. We can kind of take a leap of faith and just assume that Dracula never returned, or at least the true Dracula we saw at the ending of the first show. What I would like to see is the Belmonts fully restored. I'm talking Hunters of the Night, still adventuring, still hunting, still fighting their inner demons, all that good jazz. Now, from what I can gather is that these vampires, they led an assault on the city of Belmont, perhaps, absolutely destroying the sanctuary that was created by Alucard, Trevor, and Sypha so long ago. I'd love to theory craft and say that the Chad Slayer himself, Juste Belmont, is Richter's father, but who knows? It doesn't really match up with the timeline because I think Juste was 60 or 70 years ago before Richter's time, but there's a lot to be done with this adaptation, so maybe a few things kind of get condensed together. We also see this woman here, this girl right here. She is confirmed to be Richter's mother. So that happens. I'm going to keep the sound off for now. But yeah, this is Richter's mom. We see the main antagonist of the show, which happens to be this purple dude, fighting Richter's mom and just absolutely murdering Richter's mom. He decides to leave Richter just alive to wallow in his grief, suggesting that perhaps one day he would return and finish off the Belmont clan. If we pay close attention to Samuel Dietz' Twitter, the director of Castlevania and working with Powerhouse Studios and all that, he gives us some amazing information. For one, we see Annette. So Annette, right here, is Richter's lover and prime motivation of the game Rondo of Blood, which more on that later on. But he also tells us that another woman is named Tara. Is Annette going hard again? Let's see if we can find her real quick. I know she's somewhere near the end. Where at? Richter going ham. Oh, shit, there she was. Whoop. Whoop. Gut punch. Ooh, okay. This is Tara. Now, in Rondo of Blood, Tara was completely different. I think it was stage 3 or 4. Basically, she was a prisoner in stage 3 or 4, Obviously, with this being an adaptation, we will 100% see her portrayed in a totally different way. She could be like a tutor, or maybe just another character redesigned and primed for mayhem. Either way, super excited to see what's happening, because she's using like speaker magic. She looks dope. This is really, really cool, and I'm glad that Samuel decided to like confirm some more characters for us. So yeah, spicy meatball right there. Now, going back to the trailer, especially at the beginning, we see a lot of bad shit is going down. We see night creatures, mysterious villains, and sweet baby girl bawling his eyes out. My working theory is that the whole first season is going to just kind of be setting up Richter's character, from like defeated boy to like the most powerful and determined slayer in the Belmont clan. It's really very reminiscent of what happened to Trevor during the first show. I think the fanatical minions of Dracula are like either trying to seek a way to return Dracula himself or consume his power to create a new Dark Lord. In this pursuit, they needed to return to Dracula's castle, which is at Belmont City, and then go on an absolute killing spree. Like it's nuts. They destroy Belmont, killing villagers, and probably capture like a few Belmont clan members to see if they could tap into that power. For what, I don't really have a solid answer, but what I am assuming, and going based off the games again, going based off of the games, Dracula's power was directly tied to his castle, and so he tapped into the powers of chaos. So perhaps like Dracula once did, they're seeking a way to tap into chaos, and eventually they seek to create like a vampire utopia by like eclipsing the sun. Where's it at? That was a dope scene. Yeah. Whoop. Well, you get what I'm trying to say. They seek to like eclipse the sun and make it permanent night. And somehow they're serving some sort of like vampire queen or messiah who's able to do this power. We see her very, very briefly in some frames, and she appears to be French nobility. It could be a he, but I'm assuming it's French nobility. And like we kind of see her silhouette and everything. I'm just calling it now. I'm telling you right now, everything lines up perfectly. You heard it first from me. I think this is Marie Antoinette. Like that, Marie Antoinette is the vampire messiah. It all pieces together. Like Freddie Mercury is gonna have a lot more to sing about in this version of our world. But yeah, like I said before, it's possible that these vampires are trying to like harvest Dracula's power to become this messiah that eclipses the sun. With not too much information to go off of, that's all I could really like tie together in a decent like, oh, this kind of makes sense, you know what I mean? So past that, as for Alucard, I have no idea where he's at. It would track for me if he was taking one of his little like vampire naps, you know, like just having a good old sleepy time. And like when the city of Belmont is attacked, maybe he's still asleep. I like to think that at the end of the attack, maybe he's the one who rescues Richter and Annette and like trains him in the ways of the speaker and like vampire hunting shit, like all those skills and all that. But that's a really big leap. So I don't really have any grounds to like justify that. We probably won't know for like what really happens, like specifically what happens between Richter's childhood and the current events of Nocturne are a complete mystery that won't be solved until the show comes out. But it's fun to talk about. Like we're having a good time here, right? Yeah. But Twitter, paying attention to Twitter and all that good stuff, we have some working theories. I have two working theories of who this guy is. So this is leading into the second question. Who are the main antagonists of Nocturne? Besides Vampire Queen Marie Antoinette, I have a very, very strong 100% suspicion that this is Orlax from Symphony of the Night. Now, Orlax, I really only remembered his boss fight. You know, he's got a strong disposition for the color purple. He's chilling in like a dining area or his quarters or something like that. And like you fight him, you get him low enough health, he turns into like a giant green lizard. So, you know, if you look, He's wearing the color purple, that matches. And if you look into his eyes, also green, and they're kind of like slits like a reptile. So I would assume this is Orlax. I mean, like I said, I didn't remember a lot about his lore, so I went on the wiki, just kind of caught myself up, and it kind of ties together with what's going on. So I'll read like very briefly from that. He is he's a ridiculously strong vampire. He went toe-to-toe with death itself, and it also states that he was fascinated with controlling the previously mentioned power of chaos. He thought that by understanding human hearts, he would be able to tap into that power of chaos. I believe he invaded Belmont, destroyed the only opposition that could oppose him, and then decided to leave Richter alive to toy with him on like later down the road, you know, just to screw with him. It kind of all makes sense, but they could do a total rug pull, and this guy could be Blackmore from like the handheld games, like I see a few things that maybe this is Blackmore, but Blackmore is like later on down the timeline. But one thing that I wanted to show, dead mom, hi dead mom, crying baby, where's it at? Right here. So Blackmore in the games, he was like this vampire, I believe, or maybe he wasn't a vampire, I can't remember. I'll just say he's a vampire. He was like this dude who could control the shapes of his shadow, and it would form itself into like a werewolf or like wolf creature. And if you look right here in this little section, I could be seeing things, I could be totally crazy, but this kind of looks like a wolf's head to me. So it reminds me a lot of Blackmore. And like he would lash out with tendrils and everything, like shadow tendrils. This all makes sense to me, but I could be totally wrong. I mean, like, I don't know. Also, Blackmore was wearing a purple coat when I looked him up on the wiki, so it could be him, but it's either Orlax or it's either Blackmore. I don't really know who else the callback is for. As for the other vampires, I have no idea. Like, there's no telling. I'm sure there's some callbacks I'm missing, but like the redesigns are too far apart. I can't really tell. They might include like the Bartley vampire, which is like, where did I read this? It's like Dracula's niece or something like that. And she just looks like a noble woman. I don't think that Bartley is her. This is Marie Antoinette. But where's she at? Oh, this lady too. I don't know who this is, but I support women's wrongs. She can do whatever she wants to me, beat the shit out of me. I don't care. Her design is incredible. I love her. I am so excited to see this woman. Chef's kiss. Well done, Powerhouse. But yeah, I don't know who any of these people are. What is happening? I don't know. Okay, anyway, closing that out. Final question. Where is Dracula? Like, what happened? Bro, in my headcanon, I think he died. I think after the first show of Castlevania, he was returned to our world with Lisa as a man. He spent the rest of his days as a man. Now, it could be possible that when he died and went back to hell, his soul still retains like those vampire powers and chaos, but I don't know. I'd like for him to have a happy ending. He has some trauma. He just wanted to hang out with his wife, but I don't think anything happy is going to happen. Like, Powerhouse Studio apparently likes to crush my fucking dreams. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the video. Comment down below for some discussion time, and thanks for watching. I appreciate you.